have a hard time dealing with your teenage rebellion. How did you feel when I started getting a large following on YouTube?
That actually might have been a time when you were a little bit rebellious, Clancy.
A couple of questions. Do you approve of my boyfriend?
And I pull up and cop cars. I'm sure you know which one I'm going to talk about.
Oh my gosh. What's up, everyone? So first things first, if you clicked on this video hoping for a super juicy, delicious, I don't have any other adjective in my head right now, but great video, then boom, you're here, you're in the right place. I'm excited, I'm super duper excited. I asked you guys on Insta, yo, tell me what you want to know from my mom, because I can tell you all the things I want. I can go blabber on and be like, I'm this, I'm that, but I could be lying, okay? So that is where mother comes into play. Mom, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Hi, everyone.
Oh, so great. She's a natural. You really are, Mom, right?
Yes, I am.
Actually, before there was Clancy, there was Kathy. Tell them a little bit. You were an on-air person?
Yeah, I was in sports television, and my thing unusual was boxing.
Yeah, she was a boxing commentator. I feel like not a lot of people know that, but I'll just give her a little, a little shout out. Why not? But I'm excited. These questions, we're just gonna like hop right into them pretty much because there's a lot of them, and we're just gonna what am I can't talk. Also, my mother just made us eat Denny's and I'm about to vomit. I mean, like, no one told me I had to eat every bite, but I ate every bite because I'm hungry. No, Mom. Check out my Insta story if you want to see the everyday lives of just me. Okay, Mom, we're gonna start out juicy. By the way, just be honest, be yourself, be brave. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's great. Have you ever caught Clancy sneaking out to meet a boy or go to a party when she was in high school?
I did not. I've had you stay out too late from a party.
You don't remember me ever sneaking out?
No.
Mom,
when did you sneak out?
You don't remember when I snuck out right before we went to North Carolina when I was about to be a junior in high school, and my big excuse, Clancy, why were you out at 1 in the morning? Like, oh my gosh, I told you I had to get a phone charger from Nicole. You don't remember that?
Maybe.
What is something I did when I was younger that annoyed you?
You know what annoyed me about Clancy was we could not get her to brush her hair. Or it's so strange that she's now Clancy Burke. She wouldn't brush her hair. She didn't care what clothes she wore. Nothing matched. Half of them were her brother's clothes. And if she played any sport that day, the uniform stayed on for the rest of the day. So anyone in the neighborhood that knew Clancy, it was according to whatever team she was playing for that day.
I remember you saying, Clancy, you can't keep wearing your soccer uniform. They know you went to soccer at 11 in the morning, and it was like 6 p.m. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing. And I was like, what are you talking about?
That was your look. It was either, depending on the season, you would go into your drawers and find clothes from 2 years ago. You had ones that were flared jeans, but they were 3 sizes too small. And of course, you're so skinny you could button them. And I was yelling as you were going out, you can't go out in those. Now they're capris. And you just kept running.
Were you concerned about the fact that I was just so did not care what I looked like? To a bad degree, not like I don't care what I look like, confidence, I was accept me as a troll.
Right, no, I didn't care at all, because as long as you kept up with your hygiene, so I did. As long as you were washing your face and brushing your teeth, and then just every once in a while I would have to attack you to get the knots out of your hair.
The knots, Mom, the knots. I have nightmares about the knots.
Yeah, so I would get the knots out, but that was also why I encouraged you to have shoulder-length hair. It was more manageable.
Yeah, I remember that. I couldn't manage anything else. Was Clancy a hard child to raise?
Clancy was an easy child to raise because, and even this day, she just enjoys entertaining herself. And I think that's really what happened with the YouTube, because since you were little, you loved to write stories where kids, would hate it if they had an assignment to write a 5-page paper. And you would say, can I make it 10 pages? Do you think the teacher would take 10? Because you just really love to do that. Except that if you really needed someone, it was on demand. And if I was in the middle of making dinner and you decided, you're the cashier and you're playing cashier and, what do you want to buy? It might be, what do you want to buy? You like the nasty cashier or the nasty waitress where I would say, this kid's not going to get any tips.
Oh. Did your parents have a hard time dealing with your teenage rebellion?
I think I did not have a hard time dealing with your rebellion just because I would not let you outlast me. I think I was more stubborn than you were. I do think that parents you up now. It's 11 o'clock. It's your curfew. You were kind of, how dare you? Because of course then I would text your friends instead.
Oh my
Hey Carly,
gosh.
on my way. I'll pick the two of you girls up now. So I think as long as a parent has that stamina to outlast.
You also were lucky, like, because yes, I did go through like a rebellious phase in a way, but not to the extent, like, I feel like if I went through a rebellious phase of like drugs or smoking or something like that, that would be like difficult. But you're lucky that I never even did that. You're lucky, Mom.
I don't know if it'll come up that I could bring it up or if it's a question, but one that I could not believe, and it was during the summer that you're old enough to stay out late. You were in high school, you were on the high school softball team, and you went out with those high school girls. And I will never forget, I'd say, Clancy, I have to take a train at 7 o'clock in the morning. I can't be picking you up at 11 o'clock every night. And you were annoyed because the other kids could do it. One day I was exhausted. I was picking you up at 11 o'clock at night. It was during the week. You were supposed to be at a pool party at one of the girls on your team's house, and I pull up and cop cars. I'm sure you know which one I'm going to talk about.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. So all the parents had a different take on this, and I pulled up and two of your very good friends were there with police officers.
They were in a cop car.
Yeah, they were crying. Well, the one got out of the cop car and she just kept saying, "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Burke, I'm so sorry." She was hysterical. And I said, you know, what happened? And the cop said they were drunk. They were jumping in people's pools. Apparently the crew went from house to house jumping in people's pools, scared an older couple who wanted to press charges for trespassing. There was only one problem, and that is I did not see my kid. So I was talking to the cop, and as I was talking to him, I was looking to see if you were maybe up a tree, hiding, and you came out from the actual house. I don't know what the story was, but the cop did tell me, "This one's fine, she's good." Looking you over, you were sober. The other one was like, "I'm calling my uncle," to the cop.
Oh yeah.
"I'm calling my uncle and he's gonna have a word with you. He's a top cop in New York City."
Can I just say, I did not touch a drop of alcohol that night. I was the only person.
And that was the cop. You're always the favorite. Teacher's pet, coach's pet, and
Cop's pet.
But out of that, a lot of moms would say, "My kid wouldn't do anything bad," and they might complain to the police, where it's a good thing for you weren't doing anything, because I wouldn't have been the one trying to hide you from the cop. I would have been the one telling him to take you in.
If I was in a tree, you would have outed me?
Yes, well, that's why I was looking. I was going to be like, "There's mine."
Oh, I got a lot of questions. How did Clancy get her name? Was there any meaning behind it?
Definite meaning to Clancy's name, and that was my maiden name. I had a deal with Clancy's dad. We didn't know if she was going to be a boy or a girl.
Until the birth.
Until the birth. And he would name the boy, and I would name the girl. And he kept saying, "There's no way you're going to name her Clancy." I absolutely am. And as soon as you were born, I looked at the nurse and said, "We're naming her Clancy." You know, another odd thing about that, all of your viewers are too young to know, there happened to be a show on at that time called Murphy Brown. And it was about a television newscaster, a woman named Murphy, and her last name was Brown. And I kept giving the example when people told me I could not name a girl Clancy. I kept giving the example of Murphy Brown. And I just think it's funny now, without ever leading you to news television or anything, you ended up being in news television.
Someone asked, did Clancy ever talk about wanting to be a TV reporter when she was little?
No, you went through every field. For the first 10 years of your life, you wanted to be a cashier. And
That's true.
For a good while, you wanted to be a doctor. Then you had your own health scares with the allergies, emergencies at the hospital, and then you wanted nothing to do with hospitals were making you very anxious. You didn't decide television until you were probably halfway through college. I know you were thinking of journalism.
I thought I was going to be a print writer. What city do you think Clancy should go to next?
I think Clancy should go to Long Island.
That's where my mom lives. In case anyone doesn't know, I don't have any desire to do that.
It's not fair.
What is the funniest story of baby Clancy, or a story where she embarrassed you as a kid?
You know, we lived with being embarrassed with the kid who wouldn't brush her hair and wore her clothes inside out.
A couple of questions. Do you approve of my boyfriend?
Your boyfriend, I'm very happy that you found a nice boy or man, and You were very, very picky. So I knew as soon as you were going out on a second date that this could be the one. This is a big one. Glad that you're both happy.
Did she talk all the time when she was growing up?
When Clancy is with someone, she's talking nonstop, but she did like her time alone in her room. It might even be talking to herself or whatever she was putting together. She liked that kind of play where you're interacting.
I went through a really shy phase. Like, you knew I was shy, right?
Yes, but not with us, obviously, not with anyone. That's just meeting new people for a while.
Well, that's how it typically is with anyone who's shy. It's not like I can't talk to my mom, but it's like I was so shy when I was in grade school, like, to, oh my gosh. How did you feel when I started getting a large following on YouTube?
That actually might have been a time when you were a little bit rebellious, Clance. You started on the YouTube and you did not want me to know about it or have anything to do with it. And I want to say you were about 15 years old, where the nerve of you were in touch with this company, wanted to sponsor you, had you signing a contract, and you did not show it to me or bring it to me until they realized that you were a minor. Now they didn't know that because you looked like you were 12 and needed the parents to sign the contract. And I do remember that at that point butting heads, that absolutely I needed to know what you were doing and seeing what you were putting out there, and explaining to you that you have to protect things. You have to protect where you are, where you live, and that there are dangerous people out there.
How did you feel about me moving to Ohio?
You know, I was sad that Clancy was moving so quickly after college. And for anyone that doesn't know your story, you applied for jobs a couple of months before graduating, and you found Ohio, which just seemed to be a perfect fit for you. But I had no time with Clancy because she graduated, and 4 days later we loaded up the car and moved to Ohio, and I spent about 10 days there with her, setting up her apartment and everything else she needed, and I just got such a good feeling. I knew her interaction with the news director at the beginning just seemed like my kind of guy, and Clancy too. Just had that feeling for him. I could tell he was a good guy, sounded like someone that we could trust to have Clancy's best interest, and it really held to that. So I felt better. I knew that she was far away, but it sounded like she was surrounding herself, which Clancy always does, with good people. So I knew people would look out for her.
Was she a brat as a child?
Clancy had little bursts of brattiness, and we just had to knock Clancy down a couple of pegs. And when that happened, most of the viewers grew up with the show Rugrats. It would be like a different body came out. We call her Angelica because she'd think she was going to stand up to us. She'd have the folded arms and she would stamp her foot and go, and then you'd know it was that Angelica. But again, we just outlasted Clancy, and she hated that she couldn't get away with things.
I genuinely do feel like I had like everything you're saying is true, and I feel like a lot of it had to do with having a sibling. You guys don't really. You gave Neil a different form of attention than you gave me. And it bothered me, and it still bothers me to this day as a 23-year-old. When we all go in for Christmas, you just like treat us so differently, and it would frustrate me so much.
I don't know how we did.
You did. Like, he was literally the favorite child, which made no sense.
He was
he's
not
a failure.
The favorite child.
Yes, it literally makes no sense. He's always going to be your firstborn. I honestly would admit to being an Angelica, and like I think I changed, right, Mom?
Yeah, the Angelica was just fleeting. It would be like, oh no, it's going to be one of those days. And you had your worst day ever. Worst day ever. But you were older than the Angelica phase. And that was the day that Mom took a day off to take you to the amusement park with your friends. You really don't do well with amusement parks.
No, I don't do well with Neil. You took me and Neil to the amusement park. We were going to... This is really funny. We were gonna record a song. It's like one of the things where you can all like record a song.
Booth,
they
yes.
like send you a video. So it comes out and pick a song. Why does Neil get to pick the song?
Neil was the musician taking guitar.
Mom, he was like not even taking guitar lessons at the time. He got to pick the song. Oh, I had a meltdown. Yeah, all right, can we tell her, like, tell them I was in, like, second grade?
Right, you had your best friend with you, and poor Carly was stuck in the middle of it.
I wanted it to be Kelly Clarkson.
The fact that we went to an amusement park, and again, I had to go on all of the rides with your friend.
Yeah, Neil and I were too scared.
You don't like the roller
coaster. On the bench.
coasters.
You know what? I have a big regret of that, because if you watch the video, it's literally me. It's supposed to be like this great rock video. I'm in a corner shaking a tambourine like this.
So sarcastically.
I can't get a straight face. Like, I was so angry on that video. We need to find that, because that's gold. Mother, how do you feel about Clancy being such a klutz? Doesn't it make you worry?
I do worry about Clancy being careless sometimes, and always telling her to slow down, and she's doing 10 things at once, and her apartment now, she has many steps, and believe me, I think about that, of her leaving the house at 2 in the morning, knowing that she's probably working 2 different telephones and car keys and on the steps, and it's just because Clancy is always trying to stay one step ahead, and that's her way, and I guess that's what has been a lot of the accidents.
I have gotten into a lot of like falling and that type of stuff. I wiped out on Friday walking in my car.
See?
That was ice though, you can't help that. How much trouble did Clancy cause while growing up? Any fights in school?
Clancy did not have fights in school. Clancy, you're such a weird kid. What Clancy used to do, if she had a disagreement with a friend in school, I can remember one down the street, I can say her name was Emily. If they had any kind of a problem, Clancy would say, I'm not going to be your friend anymore until you write a 3-page essay of why I should be your friend. The mother would say to me, Emily's working on her assignment from Clancy so they could be friends again. And she really did it. But Clancy, you're just such a weirdo.
I know, I remember that. Oh my gosh.
I wish you saved those letters. Who does that?
I don't know. I needed to make sure the friendship was going to be real.
Yeah, I am happy also that you were never bullied, I have to say. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe you didn't tell me if you were bullied, but I think you were the type that, and also you probably wouldn't let someone with you be bullied.
No, I always stood up for anyone,
yes.
Especially when it came to people talking behind people's backs. And actually that sometimes made people not, I feel like me as much, because you couldn't talk behind someone's back in front of me. I would always defend the person.
Yes.
That is one thing I have to say.
I have to say also, I would know that you would never be mean to someone or bully someone.
Oh my gosh, never. How would you describe your relationship with Clancy?
Clancy, would you say we are very close?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'd say we're very close. Sometimes she might she really wants to be independent, and she is very independent, so maybe you don't share everything 100% with me. You'll tell me, as an example, you were in a car accident. You're so strange, Clan. Car accident, there was a pretty big car accident a week or so ago in a work truck and a passenger. And I was concerned about the weather, texted over, how was work today, how was work on the road? Good, we slid a little LOL. We slid a little LOL. I think all
I didn't
is
feel like
fine.
talking about it.
I think all is fine. 3 days later, her chest is still hurting her a little bit. And I said, from what? The crash. So 3 days later, she uses the words, the crash. Which obviously she's fine now, but there are just certain, I guess she does not like me to worry also.
No, that is that. I knew if I typed, like, I didn't want to type the word accident because it's just not a good word to type. I think I'm like a little more independent. Like, I can't just like always be like on the, like, you know what I mean? You know, you called Granny every day?
Yes.
It's hard for me to do that.
Thanks.
I love you, but like, it's just, I'm so busy.
I know that.
I'm like, so like, and you have to understand, like, I'm always talking on the phone. If I talk to Neil on the phone for an hour, my brother, the last thing I want to do is talk to someone else on the phone for, 30 minutes. I try to like spread out my family and like shifts of phone calls. And if 2 of them try to call on the same day, it's like, whoa. What was it like living with hyperactive teenager Clancy?
It was exhausting to live with a hyperactive teenage Clancy, but I held in there. I had a lot of stamina.
You did.
And tried to be there for everything, and I think she made a lot of the right choices along the way during those teenage years.
Yeah, no, I think part of what made making good choices is half you teaching me, but also have like, you know, just because like for anyone whose kid like goes off like a bad thing, like does like it's not always the parents' fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like half and half. My brother's girlfriend Natalie said, "You guys excited for Ireland?"
Oh, we are excited for Ireland.
We are excited.
And since this is coming from Neil's girlfriend, I have to say, how are both of my kids so lucky to have found such a good boyfriend and girlfriend?
Oh my gosh, Mom. What are you saying?
It doesn't make sense what I'm saying. How lucky is Neil to have Natalie?
I agree, but why are you getting all like weird?
But because I just thought, like, they're both happy. That's good.
Who do you like better, Natalie or Zach?
Oh, Clancy, I like Natalie better than Zach.
What? You're kidding, right?
I'm kidding.
When did she start dating?
Clancy started dating when she met Zach.
No.
And that's, you know, that's something that Clancy doesn't, I had very little information about most of her dates, and that's why I knew Zach was going to be a little more serious, because pretty much I would get a quick recap. Clancy had a date with someone, that they had nice dinners or whatever other activities, and I don't think I'm going to see him again. But not a lot of details. She wouldn't say what they looked like, what type of person they are. Very hard to even find out what their careers were. What do they do? What would be your first official date, Clance? What age?
Like my first date, maybe like my sophomore year of high school, we went to the movies, but I didn't tell you. Have you ever been really mad at each other?
I think our biggest very mad at each other would be if I told you you weren't allowed to do something, for sure, or you weren't allowed out as late as other people, and I would have it thrown at me a lot, the comparison with other parents, and I would hold my ground. And you might hate me for a day, but that would be fine.
Yeah, well, I'm still kind of annoyed.
You're still annoyed.
Yeah.
I was a terrible mom.
Yeah, the worst. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate it, but it really is kind of annoying to look back on a little bit. What's it like being together?
So happy, and I don't want it to end. Tomorrow I go back to New York, and then the first thing I think of is when's the next time we're going to see each other. But
we do have our wonderful Ireland trip planned. Yep, thank you so much, Mom, for coming down.
And even now in the car, we've got our 5-hour drive, but this just makes it so much better that it's the time that we can talk, because we don't always have that time, and we're texting, and I'm at work and she's at work, and I'm on a train half the time and you can't hear, so it's good just to be together and have that time.
But all right, that was the video. Thank you so much for coming on, Mom. We really appreciate it, all of us.
You're welcome, all of you.
I think that was kind of interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry this lighting got really weird real quick,
Yeah,
but
the sun came out.
you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So we will see you later. Say bye, Mom.
Bye.